Welcome to the very first Muddy Stilettos literary salon. I'm Hero, I'm the founder and the editor of Muddy Stilettos, and if you're in the audience thinking, what the hell is Muddy Stilettos? Basically, we're one of the UK's biggest women's lifestyle platforms, which basically means we've got 300,000 subscribers, we're over 18 counties, but the thing that all of these editors do in all the different counties is we try to really help you make the most of where you live.
So we're here to talk about your 12th novel, which, do you want to hold it up? The Pool House. This is set in the kind of glitzy, exclusive world of the Hamptons in upstate New York, isn't it? And it's about a group of wealthy New Yorkers who have a weekend house share in the Hamptons. And it's all very glamorous and very glitzy, and they have amazing parties, but beneath the surface of it all, there's lots of secrets and intrigue and darkness going on.
Right, I'll give you a quick pressé of what's happened before. So basically, Jen, who's our heroine, has just landed this fabulous house share in the Hamptons, and she's just realised, because her husband did a bit of a naughty and didn't tell her actually that they were taking the place of a dead person in this house share. So she's just found out, and she's not very happy with her husband at all.
I am not a chef, I'm a cook, and I have been since the age of 4, when my mother first taught me how to roll out pastry with a tiny wooden rolling pin from my Galt children's baking set, a present from my godmother Rachel. Thanks to them, it seemed natural to spend as much time as I could in the kitchen when I was growing up, and so all my earliest memories from the 70s revolve around food.
He could weld hollow pipe into fencing and fix his truck when it broke down. I would fall asleep pressed into his hot skin, but would wake alone, the window beyond the bed flung open to where I could see his figure in one of the pens on the back of a horse as he galloped it around and around to break it in. It was as if he knew when I was watching him, as he'd always look up, flashing that smile that was knowing and vulnerable at the same time. I stayed at his house more often than I stayed at the trailer on the ranch. He'd light a fire in the pit outside his house. Cooking steaks we'd eat in the dark and the heat as the nights shifted onwards, country music playing on the radio in the kitchen window.
So it's a fantastic thriller, full of these fantastic twists and turns, as you would want in a thriller. But can you talk us through the process of actually writing it? Do you have to plot it to the nth degree, or is it something that kind of, you suddenly think of a new plot twist halfway through? How does it work for you?
Well, for me, I was talking to you about this earlier, I'm a plotter, so I plot my books really thoroughly before I start. I know not completely what's going to happen, but I know pretty well. And then as I write, things do come up and new characters appear. But I mean, people are very different, writers are very different, and you get plotters and you get pantsers. And pantsers are people who don't plot, and they take a character and they follow them, and they're writing by the seat of their pants. So I'm a plotter. But both, and they both have their pros and cons.
I love this bit because it's the bit that Women's Hour let me read on air, and it was quite a thrill that they let me say arse on Radio 4. It's pathetic career goal to have.
We'll let you say arse.
It worked for me. It's about, I went to do this one-day swimming course. This was when I thought I just needed to tweak my stroke, and I'd never put on a wetsuit before. And they sent me off to the changing room with like a higher wetsuit, and I was like, okay, great, I'll go put it on, it's going to be fantastic. I thought I'd known true loneliness. There'd been so many Saturday evenings spent with only Danish crime dramas and a bar of Lindt touch of sea salt for company. Countless weddings where I was the fun one at the table, only to dart home alone in melancholy lest someone expected me to cop off with an usher. And school reunions where everyone compared childbirth stories, while I provided a jolly tale about falling over during a marathon by way of comparison. But none of these things were true loneliness, because the loneliest place on earth is halfway into, halfway out of a wetsuit. And that's where I got stuck.